Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. Let me start by introducing the poet to you first. Robert Frost was an American poet. He was known for his directions of rural New England life, his grasp of colloquial speech, and his poetry about ordinary people in everyday situations. Frost writes his sentences with meter and rhythm to increase their beauty. His style also comprises of various elements such as lyric and narrative, with characters, background, and imagery drawn from New England, choice of rural pastoral subjects, and realistic depiction of ordinary life and people. Some of the Frost's most famous poems include The Road Not Taken, The Birches, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening, The Mending Wall, etc. So let me start the poem Dust of Snow by reading it out to you. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had ruined. Now this is a very short, very brief poem which has a deep symbolic meaning. The poet here represents a moment that appears to be simple but has a larger significance. It is a highly symbolic poem. One day the poet was in a depressed mood. A pleasant thing happened to him, and it changed the poet's mood and saved the rest of his day. The central idea of the poem is to emphasize the significance of small things and incidents, small and ordinary instances that happen in our life, the power they have over changing our lives. A simple act of falling snowflakes on the poet elevated his mood. It had a powerful impact on him and helped him saving the rest of his day. The poet appreciates the beauty of snowflakes, which changed the mood of the poet and saved many precious moments from being wasted. Now let me take up the poem stanza by stanza. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. In this stanza, the poet narrates his contact with the nature. While he was passing from near a hemlock tree on a snowy day, when all of a sudden a crow perches on the tree. The movement of the crow on the tree causes the flecks of snow fall on the poet. The crow, the snow, the hemlock tree, these are all, traditionally, they symbolize negativity. However, the crowing of crow is regarded as bad omen, and the hemlock tree, being a poisonous tree, is associated with death. Snow is also associated with barrenness and lack of life. The poet uses these three symbols to emphasize, to basically stress, to bring out the sadness and the depressed mood he was in. Moving on to the second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had ruined. Now in the second stanza, the poet reveals the powerful impact nature had in transforming his negative mood into a positive and happy one. He says that while passing by the hemlock tree, his mood changed drastically. See, he was in a bad mood. He was in a very depressed mood when he started off from his house, right? But as he came in contact of nature and just a simple act of falling of snowflakes on him, had a drastic effect in his mood. They helped in elevating and lifting the spirits of the poet. He had been in a gloomy and foul mood throughout the day. He had felt bad and had ruined the major part of the day just thinking about his bad mood. But as he stepped into the lap of nature, he felt elevated and happy. He was grateful for having saved the rest of his day. Otherwise, had this incident, the small, ordinary incident, not happened, he would have continued living in that, depressed mode. but the simple, ordinary act of nature elevated his mood and he felt thankful for not wasting his time. Even the crow, snow, and the hemlock tree, which are usually symbolic to negativity and bad omen, were highly effective in elevating the poet's spirits. Moving on to the literary devices we have used in this poem. First is alliteration. What is alliteration? What do you mean by alliteration? In alliteration, words that begin with the same sound are placed close together. It creates a musical effect and enhances the pleasure of reading a poem. For example, let us take a few examples from the poem itself. Has given my heart. Here, has, her, H sound in has and H sound in heart. It's an example of alliteration. H sound has been repeated here. Next, and saved some part. S, saved, S sound here and S sound here, some. They occur together. So again, this is a typical example of alliteration, repetition of S sound, and it has an effect of making the line musical. And saved some part. It makes the line musical. Next is enjambment. Now, what is enjambment? If you observe the poem carefully, this poem consists of just 8 sentences, not 8 sentences, 8 lines, and it does not contain any punctuation mark except a full stop in the end. That is basically, this is called enjambment. It is a practice of running lines from one to the next without using any kind of punctuation marks to indicate a pause. In this poem, each of its lines run on to the next without any punctuation mark, and the thought ends with the last line. So this is what enjambment is. Next is symbolism. I think while we were studying the stanza-wise poem, it should be clear that we have symbols, a lot of symbols in this poem. So basically, what is symbolism? It is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from the literal meaning. It is used to convey the hidden meaning to the reader or the listener. It also helps in creating meanings and emotions in writing. So basically, symbolic meaning is different from the literal meaning. For example, crow. Crow, literally, obviously, it's a bird, right? But it symbolizes bad omen. Okay, that is the symbolic meaning of crow in this poem. Let us take examples from the poem. First is crow, as I discussed. Second is hemlock tree. Next, snow. Now we have 3 symbols in this poem. The crow, as I've told you, it represents ugly, inauspicious, or ill fortune. Hemlock tree, which is actually a poisonous tree, symbolizes death, I can say. Snow. Snow symbolizes hardship and lack of life, right? All these 3 symbols are conventionally associated with sorrow. Now here the poet has associated these negative symbols with his dark, depressed and gloomy mood. Okay. However, at the same time, he has made these very symbols instrumental in bringing about a deep and positive effect on his mood. So the negative associations of these symbols represent, or they are replaced by positive connotations. Just look at the beauty of this poem, right? And this is a speciality of Robert Frost. He has the power, or he has the creativity to create convert ordinary instances into extraordinary ones. Next is imagery. Now, what is imagery? Imagery is basically when we form mental images, while reading the poem or any literary piece. It refers to the mental pictures or images which are evoked in the minds of the readers through words. Examples from the poem. This poem is full of visual imagery of winter landscape. As we read the poem, as we go through the poem, a winter landscape emerges in our minds. Another image evoked is the landscape of forest full of trees covered with snow and a lone traveler passing through it. This is another image that is evoked in our minds while we go through the poem. Next is rhyme scheme. Now, what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? Here both the stanzas, they follow the rhyme scheme of A, B, A, B. How? Let us see. The way a crow, let us take the sound A, shook down on me the dust of snow. Now see, first line ends with the sound crow. Then again, same rhyming sound appears in the line 3. Okay, this is A, we've called it A. Moving on to the second line, shook down on me. Me rhymes with, let us take the sound as B. Me rhymes with tree. Okay, so here crow rhymes with snow. The first and third line end with the same rhyme, whereas second and fourth line end with the same rhyme. So this gives it the form of AB, AB. Second stanza, heart. Heart rhymes with part in the third line. Mood rhymes with rude. Okay, same pattern is followed in the second stanza also. Again, it gives the same rhyming scheme to the second stanza also, A, B, A, B. Now, I'm sure you all must have taken away some message from the poem. So, I would just want you to sit, think, and actually ponder what is the message you have taken from this poem. Talking about me, let me discuss what I have understood from this poem and what lesson has it given to me. First is, the poet teaches us to take advantage of the opportunities in life and grab it by its horns, no matter how low or depressed we may feel. We need to shake off or forget our worries and unpleasant memories in life, like the crow shook off the poisonous snow, because the poison of worries will consume away our happiness and make us gloomy. The poet wants to remind us that there is always hope, no matter how worse our condition may be. Do not miss the simple things in life, for they are what make life beautiful and interesting. One small, simple, ordinary instance in the life of the poet, saved him from wasting his time, saved him from bad mood, and elevated his spirits and gave him the zeal and energy to continue and do well in his life. Okay, so this is the lesson which I have learned. I'm sure you must have learned your own. Do think about it and do write it down. Thank you.